welcome. Winning Wednesday's edition of our interview segment, as you are aware, is called What Matters, and today it's hosted by Anil on the mic. It's my pleasure and a privilege to walk you through this next 30 minutes of a topic, or rather a subject that's oftentimes overlooked. Mental health. Yeah, we are marking World Mental Health Day, and the thing about mental health is that, it's not just a privilege that everyone needs. It's a fundamental right that everybody deserves to have good mental health because it affects almost everything that we do, the work that we do, our relationships with the people around us, and most importantly, our relationship with ourselves. We've got to be very comfortable under our own skin before we can start facing the world. But ironically, this is something that is oftentimes overlooked or rather least talked about. Well, probably I could say, I'm going to play devil's advocate and say it's talked about a lot by the advocates, but it's not talked about by the people who are suffering. The ones who are suffering in silence. So today we're going to deal with this conversation with two of our guests. We're going to open that up. With me in the studio is the founder and president of Swara Minda, Vishalachi Arunagiri. Visha, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
And also we have the head of business development of BioTerra Solutions, Gunaseelan Sirianathan. Guna, good morning, welcome.
Daniel, thank you for having us here.
You're welcome. The pleasure's ours. So maybe before we start, maybe Visha, you can start by telling us a bit about yourself and how you ended up being founder come president of Swara Minda. And what is Swara Minda?
Okay, my name is Vishalachi Giri. My Swara Minda is an NGO and it's one of my baby projects where we are peers leading to peers.
Right, okay.
Where we have people with the conditions running the NGO. I myself have a condition, and so we opened up this NGO to give awareness and activities such as clay used as a medium of therapy.
Right.
So when I was doing the clay, it helped me when I was hearing the voices. They didn't disturb me much when I was doing the clay. So I wanted to let other people also experience this type of clay therapy, which we do in our center. And we have worked with a lot of special needs kids and mental health conditions, seniors as well. And I believe that it was like an expression of art for them. And we always interview our clients, and they said that they felt relaxed, they felt zen, their anxiety left them. So this type of therapy is what we do in Swara Minda.
Okay, right, great. So we'll get deeper into the things that you do as we get into the conversation. Guna, yourself?
Right. So I've been with the team for the last 7 years. Under the team, we focus on three different things, mainly on waste management. So we focus on urban farming and, of course, community building. And I think just to add on to some of the things that Visha had shared, we feel that in terms of community building, some of the things that we do, in terms of composting, gardening, it can add into your mindfulness and also basically address the mental health challenges that you go through every day.
Right. Great. Now, World Mental Health Day. We had a conversation off earlier, and you told me, Guna, that it is on the 18th of October.
That's right.
So open the floor for Visha Guna to tell us on what can be expected from the program that's happening that you're coordinating.
Okay, so this Saturday on the 18th, we are celebrating World Mental Health Day. As we are celebrating, we have some speeches, some with a clown, some with the medical app, and then we have Zero Waste, where he'll be talking about how gardening can help mental health. So going back to soil, going back to nature, and then we are having also a guy to do chair yoga, which can help because exercise is as equivalent to a mental health medication. So doing the chair yoga, it can also help those with mental illness. We want to focus on caregivers and youths. So that day we'll be having a book launch. The authors who wrote it is actually my mom.
Oh, wow.
And she's a caregiver.
Okay.
So we would like to share this book to give hope and to also give caregivers that it can happen, recovery can happen, and how to do it. So that will be also part of the event. And we will also be showcasing our workshops like the flower arrangement, clay therapy, tire painting, stone art, baking. Also, people can have a feel on how that can also make them into a supported employment system where they can become entrepreneurships.
Right, right. Empowering them. Among the many things you mentioned, Visha, I like the fact that you spoke about exercise, yeah, equivalent to a mental health,
That's right.
to help. Because, I oftentimes use this line food is the world's most overused drug, and exercise is the world's most underused antidepressant.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We overlook exercise. Yeah, yeah. I don't look like I exercise often, but truth is I do. I do walk every day. Guna, this
Yeah.
year's theme focuses on communities supporting mental well-being together.
That's right.
Tell us, what does that mean to you personally, and how does it tie into the program's
Right.
objectives?
So me personally, also, I had gone through a bit of a depression phase myself, just right about the COVID days, and one of the things that I found it very helpful, throughout my recovery journey is, I'm part of this community farm in Shah Alam, in Section 8. Throughout that whole phase, as I was, as I said, my recovery journey, being there in the community farm itself helped me to sort of like have a bit of grounding techniques that I've learned. Also, just being with myself, sometimes without people, but being together in a community, people where are you okay? We are going in a bit of like it's okay to be not okay, kind of and being in a group. Being inclusive in part of a community actually really helps. Being isolation is what drives you to further down your mental health.
Go further down the
Yeah,
rabbit hole.
yes, that's right. So being in a community really helps. It took me quite a long time to come out of it, but being together, whether you're doing your gotong royongs, whether you're just cleaning up together, being together with people really helps in throughout your recovery journey.
I like the fact that this is actually peer-led.
Yes,
Peer-led, peer-driven, just like how researchers and scientists, when they come up with a paper, it is actually, vetted, and it's, peer-reviewed.
that's
You
right.
know, your peers will review your research work and say that, these are all, and to know that, other peers as well who have gone through the similar things that you're going through help other people.
That's right.
And yeah, communities are very important. Social circle, your families, as well as, apart from getting medical help. I was watching this interview a couple of weeks ago, some time ago actually, of a mental health psychiatrist who was speaking. He was being interviewed, and his sort of his message to other psychiatrists out there, when they're dealing with people who are suffering with mental health, is
Yeah.
to take a non-medical approach.
That's right.
And take a more human-like approach.
Alternative.
An example that he gave was that there was this one man. He was labeled as someone who was completely psychotic by his family, completely written off by his family due to some internal family conflict. He became very violent, in and out of the ward for treatment and so on. And then when it came to a point where this particular doctor had his encounter with him, he listened to him. He listened to this guy tell him what's driving him up the wall and so on and so forth. And then his response to him was, "Okay, now that you've told me all of this, what can I do for you?" The moment he said that, "What can I do for you?" it made him cry. It made him tear, because no one had ever asked him that.
Right.
No one had ever taken
That's
that
true.
approach by asking him, "What can I do for you?" So, as communities, Gunnar, Visha, what can we do for people who are suffering out there?
I think first you have to be in their shoes and you need to be empathetic.
Yeah.
Sometimes focusing too much on the illness and what you cannot do can cause them to have less confidence. So it's good to look at their strengths, their talent, and what purpose and what they can achieve, and how they can be part of community. Now, community is very, very important. And I believe that nowadays we live in an individualized kind of community, which I think doesn't help those with mental illness, because we need to be a part of society and inclusion. It helps when you have a friend or relative or someone in the association where you can talk to, do things, go and have coffee with. Some of these people stigmatize those with mental health conditions and don't want to have anything to do with them. So it leaves the caregivers alone in their journey. So it can be very stressful. That's why Swara Minda wants to make it a platform, a safe platform where they can all come, share their thoughts, get together, be a part of a community where we can help each other. All those who are lonely, senior citizens, just want to come and do something or talk and have activities going on. So we encourage having peer support and caregiver support.
Right. Guna, anything you want to add to that?
Oh, I think one of the things that is you can see in our community these days, like how Visha pointed out, with all these technologies that we have never been more so connected with everyone, yet felt so alone individually.
Yeah.
Right. I think these are things that we would like to address. And that's why the theme very aptly we said community supporting each other. I think one of the biggest thing is it's not just about understanding the challenges that they go through, but also recognizing. I think everyone, one of the things that we learned from a mental health first aider training program also, is understanding the masks that we wear, right? Many often we see people putting on a very, a brave mask just for the community, but deep down you don't know how deep the scars go and the traumas that they are facing. And I think, how do you cope whether through with the community, like what Visha pointed out, a peer support, or the activities that we're going to be promoting this, that we're going to be educating this Saturday during the World Mental Health Day event, the pottery, composting, being mindful, gardening, you can plant 10 seeds, but perhaps only 3 will come up. That doesn't mean you're a failure. That doesn't, that means you just need to try again, buy a new packet of seeds and plant more, maybe, and learn throughout the process. I think these are the coping mechanisms that we would like to bring forth. And I think communities should play, should be aware of these issues, being empathetic. Also as, recognizing if someone is isolating themselves, communities often say like, this guy's being antisocial and whatnot. Actually pick up the phone, give him a call, or just go up and, bring him out, have a chat, bring him out for a walk in the community farm. These are all the kind of things that you can do it as part of a community.
You hit the hammer with the nail there right on the head when you spoke about people wearing different masks and also picking up the phone, calling. This great speaker, Simon Sinek. He wrote this beautiful book called The Why.
That's right.
Right. I watched one of his TED Talks recently, and he spoke about his experiences having a friend who made many attempts to call him and few other friends of his to have a conversation, but they were oftentimes very busy to attend to him. He would call and text them, say, can I have 5 minutes? Can I have 6 minutes of your time? Can I have 5 minutes of your time? But they'll be really, really busy. A couple of months down the line, they got the harrowing news that he had committed suicide.
Wow.
And then it occurred to them, probably all it needed was for me to give him 5 minutes of my time. And I could have saved him from the cusp of taking his own life away. And you really spoke of that really well. Let's go in for a break, Guna, Visha. When we come back, we'll continue this very, very thought-provoking conversation. Sure. Yeah. Matters on the show. I'm Anil on the mic, and today with me in the studios I have Vishalachi, the founder and president of Swaraminda, as well as Gunaseelan, who's the head of business development of BioTerra Solutions, and the both of them today are talking to us about World Mental Health Day 2025. Welcome back to the two of you. Guna, maybe you can tell us what are some of the biggest mental health challenges you've noticed today?
I think I think a news shocked the entire nation yesterday, where a boy suddenly, decided to stab a girl, and I think we live in a society where the upbringing itself, it's not as what it used to be. A lot of it's, you can call it pampered, or you can call it comfortable, especially for the kids. Yeah. I think this has somewhat resulted in a more, when you face failures, when you face rejections, as opposed to the case that happened yesterday. So it was a matter of this, whatever that happened, but you need to learn how to cope. I think these are the things that is missing in the context of our upbringing these days, whether it's in school, whether it's in community, the awareness of what to do and how to manage these kind of challenges, the mental health challenges. How do you face your failures? How do you face rejections? How do you face, you need to learn about, skills that can help you in terms of picking yourself up and moving on to the next phase. I think
Right.
this is what's missing.
So, Visha, based on everything that Guna mentioned, how does your organization or this upcoming event plan to bring people together and address these challenges?
I think we'll have something called circle time where peers can get together and we'll have a sharing session where they can share their whatever they are feeling, and then we'll have a psychologist there to assess them. And Swaraminda wants to build like a community of peer-to-peer led support. So we are encouraging peers to come and to express themselves so that it's a safe place for them to relax. And I believe that they also can learn through other people, like a mentor and mentee kind of program. So we are working on that. And I believe that the community needs to learn to accept these people, and because working is so difficult for us in a proper organization, so we encourage people to have an entrepreneurship by selling their clay products using our platform.
You're empowering them to be self-employed.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Now, this is the time for you to share your personal experience. Now we can relate to the people out there who maybe are hesitating to talk about their mental health challenges, probably due to many stigmas, like what Guna mentioned earlier. Times has changed. The way my parents raised Guna and myself from our generation is completely different to how parents these days raise their kids. Resilience, mental resilience.
That's right.
It's becoming very scarce. Children are becoming weaker and weaker. They don't deal with their emotions well, which leads to things like stabbing and
Yeah.
an outrage of a plethora of emotions. Tell us, how can this thing be dealt with today?
Okay, my story is a little bit more different because I was suffering with a learning disability throughout my early years and teenage years. I was not put in the curriculum. I had a shadow teacher throughout my primary years. Then I went into high school. Then I went to Australia to finish my education, which they said I couldn't. But because of the support in my work, I get 15 minutes extra time for exam. I get 2 to 3 weeks extra time for my work, like projects, essays, and I have someone that reads to me the questions. So with all of that help, I managed to get my foundation studies. And then stress started building up because I was being bullied and outcasted. So I started deteriorating my hygiene. I started not focusing, and I started hearing voices after my depression. And because of that, that happened because I was trying to be independent to live by myself for 3 weeks. Unfortunately, I was 26 kg when my mom found me. I was in such a terrible state.
Oh dear.
So she went to see the physical side of my well-being because I was 26 kilos. And then
You got to address that first before you look at other things. Yeah.
yeah,
Make sure
and
that-
then they said that it was a miracle that I was still alive. And then we went to see a psychiatrist, and he said I had schizophrenia. So I've been suffering with that for the last 15 years. I'm still on medication and therapy, but I have this NGO where I want to share to people that with the right treatment, right therapy, right work that you do for yourself and self-help, especially having caregivers beside you and friends who I've made through associations with the same illness. We help each other, contact each other, go out together, so you don't feel alone.
Yeah, you're never alone.
Yeah.
Good. I think you wouldn't have been able to make it this far without the support system around you. With your permission, would you want to talk about these voices that you hear?
Ken?
Yeah, tell us about those voices.
Okay, I'll give you an example. Today, they said, "You're not speaking. Somebody else is speaking." So I was like, okay, let me see first what
Okay.
will happen. And then they kept saying negative things, and I'm not going to speak well. Something bad's going to happen.
So the voices in your head are telling you this.
Yes. So how do I deal with them? I tell them off, and
Okay.
I just brush them away.
So these voices are random voices, or are they regular characters that just come into your life and then just cause this menace in your head? Like I know some people have given their accounts and say, yeah, I've got this guy. His name is Rupert. I know this guy's Rupert. This guy's Larry, and then this guy's Tim, and then all of a sudden, Rupert always appears when I'm having dinner. So how is it in your? It's great that you're able to laugh about it. That shows how much you've come, how far you've come.
True.
But Visha, justice for people out there. Yeah, I think you can give your personal take on this and help them. So, yeah, it's nice to talk about. So, yeah, go on.
Okay. Usually they're very political. So they told me that
Very Malaysian.
the opposition is not going to be very good.
Oh, okay.
The country is going to go down the dogs, and Malaysia is going to close down.
Wow.
So they've been telling me that. At one point, I actually booked tickets to go overseas.
Listening to these voices. Wow.
And then I had to go through some therapy and everything, and then I became better. For
Okay.
me, how I deal with my issues, I talk. I talk about it. So let's say I have an issue. I don't keep it inside. I will tell someone.
You talk back to them, or you just self-talk?
Self-talk. And I talk to others as well. I say, is this really going to happen? So because I'm vocal, it helps with my
Yeah.
illness, like
You are.
managing it, because I have others to tell me what to do and
Okay.
give me advice, and that's how I became better. And I also see a psychologist, so regularly I am dealing with my issues. I don't just listen to them.
Vishalachi, thank you very much. I really appreciate your generosity in sharing your situation. Guna, what about yours?
Right. I think almost a lot of people had been a bit mentally disturbed during the COVID days. I think I went through the same phase, I guess. When I say guess, there's a lot of things that inner monologues. Also, eventually, I started getting a bit of voices of my own. But of course, it's not Rupert or Tim or anyone like that. But it's more like
It's alter ego of Guna.
alter egos, and mostly it's like you. Most times people do overthink. Yeah, people do overthink. And I think
Is it like an imposter syndrome or something, that self doubt,
yeah, in a way, I think there's a lot of
insecurity?
a lot of this is your own traumas, yeah. Whether it's insecurity, whether you're feeling a bit unloved or attention seeking.
It's absolutely fantastic that you actually touched on that inner trauma, because inner trauma is something that's very related to addiction. When
That's right.
when people have addiction to alcohol, or addiction to drugs, or addiction to anything, pornography or anything like that.
right.
It is not the addiction that you have for that substance or the chemical, but rather it is your addiction of going back to the version that you wish you were.
That's
Because you
right.
just hate being the version that you are presently in right now.
That's right.
Right?
And in a way, to address that, Anil, perfect. I think people go down deeper into their addiction acts, right? Because that is their coping mechanism. That is why I think one of the great things. That's why I'm working together, collaborating with Suraminda. End of the day. There's a lot of other ways, especially the activities, the routines, the daily habits that what we are trying to bring forth on this Saturday, and everything that we had said just now. Whether you have some inner traumas, insecurities, and you're feeling a bit burnout also. Apparently, I just read a recent statistic that says apparently millennials are facing the most burnout these days. Yeah, but of course Gen Zs and all this kind of thing. But the higher rate of people being more exhausted is one. People are being, maybe politics, this vishas, demons have been going around and talking the same thing in everyone's head, perhaps. But how do you cope with this? I think a lot of the things that we will be sharing this Saturday, including my talk, I call it, I'm doing a pocket talk calling sustainability for the soul. Right? How do you address these things? Not every day you get up.
Briefly tell us about that pocket talk.
Yeah, well, like I said, throughout my own journey as I was, going through, I understood the issues of like how I fell into the deep end of this depression, and it could be from, like I said, there's a lot of different factors, addiction and all this kind of thing. But I would like to share more towards my recovery journey, right? So the community farm, there's my chairman, I can't mention his Datuk Zainuddin. Actually, he's a chairman for the farm. I'm very close to him, and he always calls Guna. It's been a long time I've seen you in the farm. Where are you? Right? So I used to go down there, and then all we do is like plant. I remember planting sunflower seeds to just make doing landscaping and all this kind of thing. So one of the things I've discovered. So when I was doing my own research, there's a biophilic hypothesis. Being in the nature, basically, whether it's a grounding technique. These are things that humans are attuned to. Our mind, the vibes, and all this kind of thing, they are attuned to the nature. So the more you are feeling exhausted, the more you're feeling after a long drive, stuck in traffic. Park your car, maybe just go for a round of walk, smell the fresh air. The best is actually if you can spend some time in the morning. All the weekends, I often post about how I spend my Saturdays in my community farm, doing all these activities, selling all the things that we harvested for the week. These are some of the things that being back in the nature supports the biophilic hypothesis.
So this is what you will cover in your pocket talk.
Exactly.
Right. Nothing can beat being one with nature.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's this one African tradition, if I can just, add on to what you say, where it's some part of Africa. I watched a podcast, and this man was talking about how when African families migrate from one village to another, the first thing the mother does is that she sticks her finger onto the soil.
Right.
And then she puts it in the mouth of each of that child, because she wants the children to be one with the soil.
That's right.
One with the land, so that they will never go too far astray. And even if they do, there's a piece of that part of soil, that part of Mother Nature inside them. We'll go in for a break. When we come back, we'll wrap up this interesting conversation right here on What Matters.
Sure.
What Matters on this winning Wednesday, October the 15th, 2025. Anil on the mic is with Vishalachi Arnagiri, founder and president of Swara Minda, as well as Gunasilan Sirianathan, head of business development from BioTerra Solutions. And they are today talking to us about World Mental Health Day 2025 and also an event that they're organizing on October the 18th. Welcome back to the two of you. Guna, could you briefly tell us very quickly where will this event be taking place?
This will happen at the Bukit Jalil Golf Resort. Bukit Jalil Golf Resort.
Time?
From 8 a.m. up till 12 p.m.
Open to public?
Open to public.
Open to public.
You can register on Swaraminda or BioTerra Solutions.
Will Vishalachi be giving a keynote address?
She will.
She will?
Yeah.
And you'll be talking about the voices in your head as well. Yeah?
I hope so. Interesting.
Okay, now we're running short of time, so I just want to make this really impactful and quick. Vishalachi, what message you want to leave, or rather give our listeners out there as, we come close to World Mental Health Day?
I would like to say, don't be behind the illness, be in front. It's okay not to be okay, which is one of our slogans for Swaraminda. I feel that community support is the team support community of mental well-being. I believe that this year Swaraminda is doing a World Mental Health Day celebration, and I hope that this event can give more hope for recovery and also to enhance and encourage those with difficulties to come out and to be a better person. So we are enhancing that.
Still touching on that, your opinion, how do you think places like workplace or schools can better promote a conducive environment to help sustain or help, support people with mental health issues?
I think they have to understand their difficulties and their strengths, their limitations, as well as understanding that they have good days and bad days, which I think that's why it's difficult for them to sustain in schools or jobs because of the concentration. And if they're hearing voices, it can be very disturbing and they cannot concentrate on reading and writing. So that's why I believe skill and vocational programs should be more for them. And maybe they can have like their own entrepreneurship.
Right,
And,
okay.
And with those skills.
Guna?
Yeah, I think I hope people can come this Saturday and experience themselves. What are the sort of like activities? Like I said, can't stress enough about what are the habits that we need to cultivate in our daily life. So one of the things, the collaboration with Swaraminda, BioTerra Solutions and Swaraminda, we have come up with a mindful harvest. It's more of a community farming, urban farming, plus a mind wellness hub sort of initiative. We would like to bring in, everything that we had shared. We would like to share on Saturday, composting, gardening, pottery, hand building, tire painting.
Yeah.
We can explore in your own communities, and for this we would like to reach out to people. We would like people to reach out to us also.
Speaking of reaching out, how can the public reach out to you? Guna, your details.
So I'm on Facebook and Instagram under the handle BioTerra Solutions. You can find BioTerra Solutions. We are also on TikTok under BioTerra Mud. You can find us on social media. Drop us a note, and we'll carry on from there.
Visha?
We also have a Facebook page called Swaraminda, and our Instagram is Swaraminda7. And you can reach out to us.
Okay. So since you are a peer-driven, peer-led organization, can people who are suffering with mental health issues, get in touch with you to get help as well?
Absolutely.
Yes.
They can.
Absolutely.
That is the silver bullet over here. Yeah, and with that, I would like to thank the both of you for making your journey all the way here and setting aside your time. And we wish you all the best for this. I don't know how I can say it, absolutely or extremely, or it's just a great thing that you're doing, a noble cause, an endeavor to help the people out there who are suffering in silence. So keep up the good work, and I look forward to seeing you back in the studios again. You take care.
Thank you.
Okay, thank
you,
you.
Anil.
You're welcome. All right, that's a wrap for today's edition of What Matters on Track. Spoke on World Mental Health Day, and yeah, it is a mental condition, a physical condition that is as real as any other disease out there, and you need to do something about it yourself. No one will ever notice what's wrong with you and come over to you and tell you, look, I think you need help. No. If you are just not comfortable with the way you are living your life, you're not comfortable with the version of yourself, then there's something needs to be done with you. Something needs to be done with the people that you're surrounding yourself with. And help can only enter your life if you open up the door for light to come in. Otherwise, you will just be sitting at the corner of a room and you'll be staring at that slight light that's just peeking its way through whatever gap that's left through the door. Because no one, I tell you, my friends, is going to come and open that door for you. You need to get up, open that door, and trust me, the light will shine ever so brightly in your life. Coming up, we've got the news at 12. I'll be back after that for more of Track's Midday Buzz. Don't go anywhere.